Before we get to the chairwoman of the National Space Council, congratulations to William Shatner. Captain Kirk has truly gone where no one has gone before. Thank you, Captain Kirk.
William Shatner. And
Back on Earth, it seems the mask mandate isn't consistently applied. Let's follow Vice President Kamala Harris as she attempts to interact with some youngsters. Maskless with Kamala Harris. Vice President Kamala Harris, back in July or June, filmed a video with a Canadian production company called Sinking Ship Productions. This company used child actors who boasted on various social media accounts that their auditions had been approved and that they were hired to read scripts of questions for Vice President Kamala Harris. Why is it that the White House thinks that Kamala Harris cannot be trusted to speak with a real, live American child? Why does she need to receive pre-written questions from child actors hired and paid for by this production company, Sinking Ship Entertainment? Now, what's interesting is all of this is paid for by the U.S. taxpayer. We paid for Sinking Ship Entertainment, a Toronto-based media company, to make this video. We paid for the child actors who were cast and paid for their roles. It says here all 5 of these children are actors. And the proud parents are boasting of how their children are featured here. This isn't some kind of conspiracy accusation. The parents and the children are very pleased and delighted to have been chosen. So, of course, the White House immediately denies any of this because all they do is spin at this White House. There is no reality at the White House. So here is the entire video. This has been edited in different forms on YouTube. Okay, so here you can see the various paid child actors introducing themselves. Was any of them offered the role of vice president? That would be interesting if one of them had played Kamala Harris's role. Why was it important to stage this video of Kamala Harris meeting these child actors? Kamala Harris did not want to personally take the time out of her busy schedule while she's handling the migrant caravan crisis on the southern border. She did not want to spend the required 4 or 5 or 6 hours at a public school meeting actual American school children who would be asking her random questions about space. You could get the footage you need over an hour or 2, maybe half a day, as Kamala Harris spoke with these school children. I believe that she directed the White House staff, the Vice President's staff, words to the effect that I'm too important to spend my whole day with these stupid kids. Just get some child actors, have them read me some scripted lines, and I'll give them my attempt at an improv response. Were Kamala Harris's responses to the paid child actors scripted? Did she write her own material?
Ready to start? Okay, go. So, I may not always be fast to take my parents' advice, but what is the best advice your parents have given you that perhaps you can share with us today?
Could that be any more scripted, what that boy said? Does that sound like what a 13-year-old child would say?
You know, one of the most important pieces of advice that I can offer you guys, and I want you to really remember this, never let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. Never let anybody suggest to you that you are what they think you should be. You tell them who you are and who you know you are.
What did she say?
And what you intend to be.
Does Kamala Harris intend to be President of the United States? She's not making a very good showing of herself here.
Got that? Yes. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
I got more advice, usually.
I wonder if Donna Brazile handed her the questions in advance. Or did they actually trust her to have her own, come up with her own answers for these scripted questions?
So what is the most surprising thing you found about being vice president?
Wow, enunciated clearly like a child actor needs to say.
I've been a lot of things because I've never been vice president before, so there are many new things, but I'll tell you one of the things.
Well, some of us are still waiting for you to be vice president.
That I'm really excited about, and one of the reasons for our visit and the time we're going to spend time together today is the Space Council. puzzle. My mom was a scientist, so she would take us to the lab with her, like on the weekends and after school, because she had to work long hours. And I just love the idea of
What? Thank goodness the daughter doesn't have to work long hours.
exploring the unknown. And then there's other things that we just haven't figured out or discovered yet. To think about so
You wonder why they need the rolling piano soundtrack. Shouldn't her words be inspirational enough on their own?
much that's out there that we still have to learn. Like, I love that. I love that. And so I'm very excited about the Space Council. We're going to learn so much.
Some of us are waiting to learn why the Biden administration ordered a drone strike on a car full of children. I guess we'll never get an answer on that because those kids deserve to die.
As we increasingly, I think, are curious and interested in the potential for the discoveries and the work we can do in space. So that's one of the things I'm most excited about. But the other, you guys are going to see, you're going to literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes. Oh my goodness. With your...
So, who is the child actor here? These children seem to be more mature than the Vice President of the United States. Grade 7, ages 12 to 13. These are 7th graders she's talking to. Why is she speaking to them like they're preschoolers? Why is it that Kamala Harris does not know how to talk to 13-year-old children? These kids are able to handle pretty advanced conversational topics, yet she speaks to them like they haven't even gotten into kindergarten yet.
Your own eyes, I'm telling you, it is going to be unbelievable. So that's one of the things we can do here too, which makes it so exciting.
So there was actually no need for any pre-written questions for her because nothing she says means anything. Don't you feel reassured that she's ready to assume the presidency on a moment's notice should Joe Biden become incapacitated in some way?
So that's what we're going to do. You guys ready to go there?
Yes! Come on, let's go!
Well, they go into the Naval Observatory here.
Communications, your cell phones, they all need time to make them work. Are we ready to start our journey through space and time?
I'm telling you guys, you're going to have so much fun with this. Ask any questions that you have also.
Why? They're all scripted. So she's talking to them again like they're preschoolers. The question is Kamala Harris smarter than a 7th grader? The answer would have to be no. So she's very busy, so she hands these kids off to someone who can actually tolerate their presence.
Earth is kind of small. Yeah. Right?
Vice President Harris, you can't actually see the Earth through that telescope.
Earth is like a speck.
The astronomer's like, oh my gosh, does she even know that she's not looking at the planet Earth in that telescope?
Right? Well, wait till you guys see the moon. I'm telling you. I don't know what it is about those craters on the moon.
Vice President Harris, you can see the craters on the moon without a telescope at this very moment.
Always dream with ambition.
Did the astronomer leave when she starts waving her arms about dreaming with ambition?
Have big dreams. You'll remember that? Yeah. Yes. All right. I'll see you later. What?
Wow, she couldn't wait to just get out of their presence. I'll see you later. She's never going to see these kids again.
Yes. All right. I'll see you later.
That was the first sincere and honest emotion from the vice president. Get me to my lunch and my martini served dry.
Once the sun set, we were finally able to see the moon.
Kids, you already knew that you could see the moon after the sun sets. You didn't need Kamala Harris to somehow point that out to you. Notice that they were kept there at the observatory for another 10 hours long after she left. Let's recap here the scenes of Kamala Harris and the children.
We gotta go to the observatory.
The children arrive at the observatory. They're not practicing social distancing. They're not masked outdoors. The kids are inside the observatory. They're now all masked up. Vice President Harris arrives in her limousine. You know that that is not the only vehicle in her traveling entourage.
The Space Council is the Vice President!
Don't we know it?
Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the United States.
The kids had masks on inside the observatory. for the photo op of meeting the Vice President. She's shaking their hands, no masks, no social distancing. Notice the contrast here with the footage from the Capitol. They're all masked up for appearances, but then the needs of the appearances changes. What is the requirement for the mask mandate? Kamala Harris is sitting incredibly close to these children. Why are they not wearing masks? Why aren't they required to have a greater distance from each other or the Vice President? These are the ridiculous requirements that Americans are being required to do. They're imposing their requirements on how we live and how we go to work, but the rules don't seem to apply to these people. They go into the Naval Observatory building here. Suddenly the masks are back on. What's the difference? We know this officer was required to prove he was vaccinated before giving a briefing to the Vice President. What is going on here? Why is it that these kids are mask-free one moment, sitting inches from the Vice President, then suddenly they're masked up? What changed? What is the scientific reasoning behind these masks here and then no masks here? There is no scientific basis for masks going on and off in this entire video. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are requiring us as Americans to follow their edicts, which have no basis in the Constitution of the United States, for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris to tell us when we should mask up, when we are required to mask up, or whether we should wear masks in any place or time or setting. Why is it that these people have such control over our lives? Because there is no one in Washington, D.C. pushing back when they intrude into our personal freedoms and our personal rights. Thank you.